There are many types of animals that are commonly kept as pets, such as dogs and cats. These animals are kept for good reason. They have been domesticated by humans for thousands of years, making great companions and are relatively easy to keep. However, in more recent years, people have started keeping different kinds of domesticated and non-domesticated animals, particularly reptiles, including snakes, lizards, turtles, and even crocodilians. These animals have been on the rise in popularity in recent years. An article titled Using Google Trends to Determine Current, Past, and Future Trends in the Reptile Pet Trade explains that currently the largest reptile consumer markets are in Europe and the United States, with over 9 million reptiles being kept as pets in both of these regions combined. In the US alone, reptile ownership has more than doubled during the previous 2 decades, with an estimated 4.5 million households containing at least one pet reptile. The popularity of these animals in recent years may suggest that they make good pets. However, reptiles are not suitable for most people due to the specific knowledge needed and the specific care required for these animals to thrive and maintain good health. Reptiles are expensive animals that, unlike a cat or dog, require very specific heating, lighting, humidity, diets, and housing that many people are simply unable to provide due to the lack of knowledge and the expense of the specific items needed. If reptiles are not properly cared for, they can suffer many severe medical conditions and health problems, which can ultimately lead to death. Today, I will explain what causes owners to provide poor welfare to their pet reptiles, what specific areas of husbandry are lacking in the care of many captive reptiles, as well as the devastating effects that inadequate husbandry can have on these animals. There are many reasons why reptile owners may provide poor husbandry to their pet reptiles. One reason is that many owners do not have the knowledge to care for their pets. Many owners, especially new ones, do little to no research before getting their new reptile and lack the basic knowledge of the care requirements needed for the specific reptile they purchase. A study conducted about reptile keepers in Australia found that 58.2% participants in the study said that they had purchased their reptile to learn more about the species, which could suggest that a large proportion of reptile owners had no previous knowledge on the species they were keeping. Reptile owners must be ready to spend a lot of time preparing and researching in order to provide adequate care for their new pet, and not buy their reptile before they have a wide range of knowledge on the species they plan on keeping. Another reason that many owners may provide poor husbandry to their reptiles is that they believe caring for a reptile is easy and cheap. Reptiles have become very popular in recent years due to the misconception that they are simple, cheap, and easy to keep animals that require little time to properly care for. Reptiles require very specific thermal, hydrological, dietary, and behavioral requirements in which many owners fail to provide. None of these requirements are easy to provide for a reptile, and owners must be ready to spend lots of money in order to supply these needs for their pet. For example, the bearded dragon, which has become one of the most popular pet reptiles in the United States, requires many special lights and a large tank in order to maintain proper health and thrive. According to the Federation of British Herpetologists 2020 update to minimum housing for reptiles, bearded dragons should have an enclosure which measures roughly 6 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. By itself, a tank of this size could cost around 1,500 US dollars. Special lighting required for the species can cost many hundreds of US dollars depending on the owner's setup. However, many owners spend little amounts of money providing for their pets. One study looking at the conditions Brazilian reptile keepers keep their reptiles found that the majority of Brazilian reptile owners spend less than or up to 30 US dollars per month in maintaining their reptiles. Despite most keepers being in the middle and higher class, this low monthly cost may reflect overall inadequate maintenance due to specific dietary requirements, enclosure needs, specialized veterinary care, all of which cost large amounts of money, especially when caring for multiple animals. In the wild, reptiles thrive in complex environments with many types of light ranges, water areas, microhabitats, and humidity ranges. They have a vast area to move around and are able to choose what kind of environment they want to inhabit. In captivity, this can be accomplished by adequately sized and complex enclosures, which allow for the use of different types of substrates, objects such as climbing branches or large rocks to encourage exercise, room for proper lighting, and enough room to allow for environmental enrichment. However, many reptile keepers do not provide enough enclosures to provide proper welfare to their pets. One study looking at conditions Brazilian reptile owners keep their reptiles in found that out of the 719 keepers interviewed, 33% reported having only basic elements in their reptiles' habitats, and 16% reported keeping their reptiles in barren enclosures. While there were also many keepers in this study who reported keeping their reptiles in more complex enclosures, the majority reported keeping their pets in non-optimal enclosures. Reptiles are cold-blooded, which means they cannot regulate their own temperature, but instead must rely on external heat to control their body's temperatures. They must be able to reach their preferred body temperature in order to be able to catch prey and digest their food. And if their temperatures are too low or too high, they will die rather quickly. Unregulated heat requirements, such as heat mats and unprotected heat lamps, can also cause severe thermal burns from the excessive heat. Allowing reptiles to easily regulate their body temperature in captivity is essential for them to maintain good health, and is one of the most important things in their care. Despite this, studies show that many reptile keepers do not provide adequate temperatures for their reptiles. In one study, survey data was used to access behavioral knowledge and husbandry provision provided by pet reptile owners in Portugal. This study revealed that out of 220 respondents, the temperature ranges were classified as adequate for 70% of the snakes, 41% of the lizards, and 20% of the turtles. And here I have a quick graph of this study. The results of this study suggest that many captive reptiles are not being provided with adequate temperatures for optimal health, which can affect their digestion, their immune systems, and can prohibit behavioral thermoregulation. In nature, many reptiles must use ultraviolet rays from the sun to maintain health and synthesize vitamin D3, which allows reptiles to absorb and metabolize calcium. Providing UV light in captivity is essential in avoiding a disease called metabolic bone disease, which can limit a reptile's ability to move, cause severe pain, and lead to death. Not only is providing UV light essential for many reptiles to survive, but it's also been shown to improve feelings of thermal comfort and feelings of pleasure in reptiles. Despite UV light for many reptiles being essential, many reptile keepers don't use the proper lighting in order to provide the reptiles with proper amounts of UVB. One study was found that a direct source of UVB light was not present for 60% of the lizards, 30% of the turtles, and 8% of the snakes, and 20% of the 220 respondents reported no light source at all. The authors of this study state that failure to provide a direct source of UV light and an adequate temperature gradient for the species in over 30% of the cases are two crucial examples that directly impact reptile health and survival. It has been reported that up to 75% of pet reptiles die within their first year of being owned. There are many reasons for these animals' deaths, but husbandry-related issues are one of the most prevalent. Husbandry-related issues such as incorrect temperatures, lack of UV light, and unbalanced diets are some of the many reasons why captive reptiles can fall ill. Unbalanced diets can lead to a variety of issues, including obesity, malnutrition, and mineral deficiencies, which can lead to illnesses such as metabolic bone disease or kidney disease. For many reptiles, mainly lizards and turtles, lack of UVB light can lead to metabolic bone disease due to the reptile not being able to absorb and metabolize calcium. This disease can lead to the inability to move, skeletal deformities, and death. In conclusion, reptiles are very complex animals which require very specific thermal, hydrological, dietary, and behavioral needs to maintain proper health and thrive. However, despite their specific husbandry needs, these animals have become very popular in the pet trade in recent years and are oftentimes cared for improperly by their owners, which can lead to various health problems. Overall, reptiles are not suitable for most people to keep due to the specific knowledge needed and the special care required for these animals to thrive and maintain proper health. Thank you.